She has played a total of 9 years of volleyball and has been a member of the high school program the last 4 years. In addition to volleyball, Abigail is also a member of the USN track and field team, a member of SHAPE. Abigail's favorite subject in school is math, and she would like to major in physics and engineering in college. Outside of school, Abigail really enjoys working out and spending time with her friends. Abigail, thank you for your cheerful personality and big block. We'll miss you next year. Number 1, Anissa Cole. The daughter of Angel Cole and Richard Banerjee. She's attended USN since her freshman year. She's been a 4-year starter on the varsity volleyball team. Anissa has played many roles on the team throughout her 4 years, but this year she has served as the varsity libero. Anissa enjoys math and plans to major in environmental science and sustainability while studying in college. Along with her commitment to the volleyball program, Anissa also works at an art studio where she makes earrings out of recycled materials and sells them at Turnip Green Center of Reuse. Anissa, thank you for flexibility and willingness to do what's best for the team. We'll miss you next year. And assistants, Black Student Union,
there we go.
And regularly attends leadership conferences like the SDLC leadership retreats and Tearing Down the Walls conference. Gideon most enjoys her cognitive neuroscience independent study course and plans to major in this at NYU. Outside of school, Gideon's favorite activities include hanging out with friends, spending time with family, painting, and making jewelry. Gideon, thank you for your constant encouragement to your teammates desire to continue to get better. We'll miss you next year. Lily Mosey. Lily is the daughter of Paul Mosey. She's attended USN since kindergarten. Lily's been a part of the USN volleyball program for 8 years, playing 3 years in the high school team, and serving as this year's varsity team manager. In addition, volleyball is also a member of the USN bowling team and softball team. During the summer, Lily works at the USN Rising Summer Program as a teacher assistant and tutors rising first graders. While attending college, Lily plans to major in psychology and education and dreams to be a child psychologist and work as a school counselor. Outside of school, Lily most enjoys singing, bowling, hanging out with friends, and working at her job. Thank you for your commitment and dedication to the USN volleyball team. Number 12, Jessica Muhlenbach. The daughter of Tom has attended USN for 5 years. Jessica has participated in volleyball since she began at USN and is a 4-year member of the varsity volleyball team. In addition to volleyball, Jessica is also a member of the Curve Youth Symphony, serves as president of Greater Nashville Youth Chinese Association, is a member of Albany USN, and volunteers at the Adventure Science Center. Jessica mostly enjoys biology and chemistry and plans to study pre-med in college. Jessica hopes to one day become a dermatologist. Outside of school, Jessica loves hanging out with friends, baking desserts, and watching movies. Jessica, thank you for your steadiness and confidence you bring to the USN volleyball team. Number 4, Julia Spesser. Julia is a member of the Spesser has attended USN since kindergarten. Julia has been playing volleyball for 9 years and has been a part of the high school team for the past 4 years. In addition to volleyball, Julia also plays on the USN lacrosse team and is a member of the Tiger Club. Outside of volleyball, Julia most enjoys spending time with family and friends. Julia, thank you for your positive attitude and always being a great role model for your teammates. Let's give a big hand to all our seniors. Congratulations. Congratulations, USN Senior Class 2022.
And welcome to the first USN broadcasting stream of 2022. Here I'm joined in the booth by Jeffrey Friedman. My name is Aiden. Jeffrey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Excited to watch senior night here. It's a big night for a lot of us.
Starting for the Tigers, it's a line full of seniors. It's going to be Jessica Mullenbach, Ginna McGruger, Anissa Clark, Julia Spessard, and Abigail Green. You know, Jeffrey, Webb is a tough opponent. These girls have looked really good this year. What do you think going into this game?
Yeah, well, you always hope on senior night that you can put on a good show, but it's really about the players. You just hope that we're not too sure what to expect from the opponent, so you just want to hope that we have a good match here and that eventually the Tigers come out on top.
Well, there certainly is a showing today. The student section is filled with seniors and friends of the volleyball team. They have all the support they need to win this game.
Yeah, this is the best I've seen it in a while.
USN will start with the ball. Lily Mosey will be serving. She serves it over. And was that in?
No, that was out.
That was out. The ball landed out just outside on the left-hand side of the court. That will be Webb 1, USN 0.
Maybe a little nerves just to start. That's pretty regular. Hopefully we can fight back here.
Number 13, Bella Griffey for Webb will be serving. A very tall lineup for Webb. Maybe a lot of opportunity for blocking and tipping on the net here. There seems to be some confusion on the court right now. A substitution. Anissa Clark comes onto the court. Lily Mosey will leave.
It looks like we have some new Tigers. Here we have Josie Whelan, Tate Barbieri, we have Maddie Ewing, and Jessica and Anissa are still on the court, and then Ava Baller.
A lot of young faces on the court now. 2 sophomores and 2 juniors have joined us. The ball is served. Ava tips it up. Tate smacks it. Anissa bumps it up, and Maddie back to the Webb side. Anissa bumps it again. It is bumped back to USN. Jessica bumps it up. A lot of bumping going on here, Jeffrey. And that is going to be Webb's point. The score is now Oh, well, I guess they took off that first serve, so now it's just 1-0. 1-0 Webb is the score. The ball is served. Jessica digs it.
Beautiful dig.
And it is spiked. It is another.
A beautiful spike. It looked like number 19 from Webb. That would be Lauren Russ with a beautiful spike.
It is now 2-0 Webb. Webb will again be serving. Number 13, Belle Griffith, has the ball. Jessica bumps it up to Josie. Josie to Maddie. She tips it in, and that is out. It is another. Oh, that was called in. It is now 1-2 Webb. Oh, again some confusion, and the call is overturned.
Well, so it looks like the referee might have signaled to the wrong side there. I was a little bit confused because that call wouldn't have made sense. So it's actually 3-0 Webb.
Jessica bumps the serve. Maddie over the net. A spike. Oh, and it is right off of Tate's hands and out of bounds. That is another point for Webb. Webb is leading 4-0 with a very strong start.
Yeah, Russ for Webb. She's clearly the tallest on the court, and she's really taken over the game with her spikes.
Josie tips it up to Tate. It just makes it over the net. It is dug out, and it is called a point. 3 touches on Webb's side. It is now 1-4 Webb.
Well, this is what you want to see. You know, you dig yourself a little hole, but you want to see how they respond right here.
That's right. Josie will be serving. It's bumped up, and they're communicating to bump it back, but Anissa digs it. Oh, and Abigail's on the court now, and she spiked it. Oh, and it is another point for Webb.
Once again, it's Russ, number 19. I mean, she has at least 3. She's at least responsible for 3 points.
Webb is commanding this game at the moment. Jeffrey, what is USN going to have to do to turn this game around?
Well, USN's got to find a way to stop 19. That's really the bottom line.
And Maddie will be going in for the spike. A big hit, but it is dug out. It is blocked. Oh, and it's just over Abigail Green's hands and that is going to be 6-1 Webb. It is Loven Rust serving. And that ball is out. It is now 6-2 Webb.
And that's that break you need. Now you got to take advantage of it. Ride this momentum.
The ball was served and went out of bounds. And the call is overturned. A lot of boos coming for the crowd after that call. In my opinion, the ball was out.
All right, unsure about what the call is here. Josie Whelan is talking to her. Not sure what they're discussing, but there seems to have been some sort of miscommunication.
Well, she was the closest to the call, and she might have had a perspective that the judge did not see. The score is now 7-1.
I can certainly say from the booth, it definitely looked out.
All right, the players are back on the court, and the ball is once again served by Lauren Rust. Anissa bumps it to Josie. Josie to Tate. And it is spiked down, but it is dug out. Webb sends it back over the net. Anissa to Tate once again. And that is a point for USN.
That was a bit sloppy from Webb there. Looks like there was a miscommunication, and it just dropped in between about 3 players.
USN seems to be gaining some momentum here, talking very well. Tate will be serving. And the ball is hit out of bounds, but they are able to get it back. Abigail hits it to Julia. And it is another point for USN. seem to be getting some momentum here, Jeff.
Yeah, it really. I don't know if it's the crowd and their energy, but it seems like Webb's having some communication issues. Two players ran into each other on that point.
It is spiked back to USN side, and it's in the net. That's another point for USN.
So now 4-7 USN. The comeback is well underway. They just got to keep riding this.
Tate will once again be serving. He's been very successful with that. Webb returns it with a spike. Josie bumps it, but it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a pretty good spike right there. Not much you can do with that.
She got a lot of height on that one, for sure. USN coming up with a strategy. Two players stacked in the middle on the net. Looks like they got some kind of plan. Josie bumps it for Maddie. She spikes a big spike. Webb returns it, however. Josie sets up for Julia. Another big spike, and it's out of bounds.
That was a beautiful spike right there from Julia Spessel.
Very well set up.
They had no chance.
The ball hit a Webb defender's hands, and it went out of bounds. The score is now 5-8 Webb. A big spike, and that's going to be a point for Webb. The score is now 5-9.
Yeah, Webb. And now with 19 out of the game, it looks like number 10 for Webb. That would be Autumn Swanson. She's really taking over.
The ball is served. It's dug out by Tate. Set up for Abigail. A big spike. That's in.
What a point.
A great spike from Abigail Green there. She'll bring the score up to 6-9.
That started with a great dig from Tate Barbieri. She was really responsible for the opportunity to get that spike in. Ava Baller now comes in for Abigail Green.
Should be serving. Oh, and it's blocked. And Webb is able to return it. This big spike from Webb. The score is now 6-10 Webb. Not much you can do there, Jeffrey.
Yeah, so far, pretty much if Webb gets an opportunity to spike, USN hasn't been able to do much about it.
No. Webb now serves. Webb sets it up.
There we go. Just
spike,
as
but USN is able to return it. And Julia just misses her mark on a spike. The ball was out of bounds. It is now 6-11 Webb. Number 10, Autumn Swanson will be serving. Josie sets it up for Julia. Big spike, but is returned. Webb returns with a big spike.
19 back in the game now for Webb, and she was the one who spiked that. So, and we've already seen so far that that's clearly a strong part of her game.
Lauren Rust with a big kill for Webb. And Autumn Swanson serves, but the ball's a point for USN. This is a tight game now, 7-12. USN is hanging in there.
Yeah, I really liked how they fought so far.
They are certainly being affected by this huge crowd that we have here, filling the student section. Jessica serves it, but it is out of bounds. The score is now 7-13 Webb. Webb with their lead growing now. They're going on a little bit of a run. Jeffrey, what does USN have to do to close this gap?
I think USN just has to cut down the little mistakes and take advantage of the ones that Webb is making, because Webb has not played a flawless game so far. Lots of miscommunications and things, and you need to pounce on those when you have the opportunity.
Bella Griffey with the spike, but it is out of bounds. That's another point for USN, closing the gap, 8-13. Anissa with the serve. It's going to be a point for Webb. A lot of back and forth there at the net.
Well, so they've been able to, the last two spikes from number 19 on Webb, USN's been able to handle, but then not do much with.
The serve is in the net. That's another point for USN. That was Autumn Swanson on the serve.
And looks like Abigail Green is now coming in for Ava Bauer.
Josie Whelan is serving now. The ball is returned by Webb to Tate. She bumps it up to Jessica. Jessica to Maddie, who is able to get it back over the net. Webb sets up for Swanson. Is returned by Jessica. A big dig there. Oh, and Tate hits it just out of bounds. That's going to be another point for Webb.
That looked like a great setup, just wasn't quite able to finish. That's the type of looks you want if you're USN.
Webb will now serve. Jessica returns it, but barely. Anissa bumps it to Maddie. She was able to get it over the net.
Beautiful dig by Webb.
Beautiful
right
dig.
there.
Oh, Anissa with another great dig. And they're able to get it back over the net as well. Oh, and Maddie with a tip.
What a point!
And that is USN's point. That ball was set up perfectly where Maddie was just at the net where there were no defenders in her premises.
Yeah, lots of athleticism there on both sides.
It was a really great point. Tate is now serving. A little confusion with the substitute table.
Looks like
as Jessica leaves the game for Julia. A great serve. Maddie with her tip again, and she's able to score once again for USN.
Almost an identical finish to the last point. Once again, you got to take advantage when you have those little balls that just float up towards the net.
Maddie Ewing has been a force for USN so far. And Tate sends the ball where the Webb opponent had to dig it, and it went right over the net.
Clear and out of bounds. Yeah,
and out of bounds.
Clear momentum shift now.
Webb is able to return it and bumps it over the net. A beautiful dig by Tate. Oh, and Abigail just misses her mark, and it's in the net. That's going to be a Webb point right there.
Yeah, as I said, cutting down on the small mistakes and taking advantage of the ones that Webb makes is really going to be the key here. And missing stuff like that, it's a small fix, but it's really important.
Oh, and Abigail with the spike, but it is returned. Oh, and a big block in the net as Autumn Swanson tries to kill, and it is blocked by Maddie. Oh, and Anissa digs it. Set us up to Julia. A beautiful tip, but it is returned by Webb.
What a point!
Sets it up again for Julia, and then it is spiked. And the board is now 13-16.
Pandemonium.
There's pandemonium on the court right now. The student section goes wild after that beautiful kill.
Julia Spencer with an absolute rocket.
A beautiful serve from Maddie. But it is returned. Josie sets it up for Julia. Oh no, she set it up for Abigail. A beautiful fake there. And it is out of bounds. That's another point for USN. Really turning the tide here, Jesse.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, within 2 points now. There was a point they were down, I think 6 or 7. So clearly things are trending in the right direction for USN.
The teams return to their benches, and as the USN coaches praise their players for the comeback they've made.
And we talked at the beginning. We didn't really know what to expect from Webb, but it looks like we're in for a good one right here.
Yeah, Webb is really doing very well of protecting their net, but USN is able to bring them back into the backcourt and to expose them for their tips and other plays in the net that Maddie Ewing has been able to expose and take advantage of.
Yeah, and it's pretty clear who Webb's off, at least on offense, what they're going to run through, and that's number 19 and number 10, Swanson and Russ, I believe.
Or in Rust. Yep. Maddie Ewing is the serve, but is just caught on the net as she subs in for Anissa Clark on her way to the bench. Serving for Webb here is number 3, Kristen Logan. The ball is over the net. Tate retrieves it. And Julia with the spike. It is set up for her. And once again, she gets the kill. Julia really being an integral force on this USN offense here.
Yeah, she's been a very reliable finisher so far. I think there's only one that missed the mark. but there's a couple that come to mind where she's really hit the ball and not even given the opponent an opportunity.
USN stacking the deck with aces here. Ava Baller, the ace right down the middle. It is not returned.
USN is now within 1 point.
Ava Baller once again, and it is out of bounds. The score is now 16 to 18, gotten a lot closer. USN's really closed the gap here on this comeback. If you remember correctly, the score was there was a 7-point difference in the score just a few minutes ago, but they've really been able to turn this around.
And Russ just checked in for Webb. We know how dynamic she's been so far.
A beautiful point here, but it is USN. It is USN. The score is now 17 to 18.
It's coming down to the wire here. This would be a good finish here. Would really do a lot for the rest of this match.
That was Josie Whelan on the play with a tip over the net for USN's point. Jessica Mullenbach serving now. It is dug out by Little Belle. Josie to Tate.
That looked like that was going out.
That was a well set up serve. Josie once again to Julia, and it is right over the net. Oh, and that is USN's point as it hits the post right next to the net.
And we are now tied here in the first set, 18 to 18.
Jessica with the serve. Webb bumps it up for a big kill, but it hits the net. It is USN's point once again, and they have taken the lead for the first time in this game.
Yeah, this is what you want to see, right? You want to see fight. You get down early, but you want to see how they fight back, and they've proven that they can do that.
Jessica once again serving, and the ball is blocked at the net. Josie to Ava. Ava ball is once again over the net. Josie sets up Tate, and it is picked up by Webb. They send it back over. Josie once again to Julia, but it is blocked at the net. That is Webb's point.
Yeah, well, one thing I noticed is that Lauren Russ for Webb, her last couple spikes have not been quite as effective. Not sure if it's just the angle or what, but USN's been able to handle the last couple, which they definitely weren't earlier in the game.
Oh, and that is an ace for Webb.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Seemed to be a miscommunication there with USN. And Webb has now taken the lead back. The score is now 19 to 20. USN calls a timeout to get their thoughts together. Jeffrey, on that comeback, I think Webb really realized how they were getting down, and I think they were able to respond really well. What did you see there?
Yeah, I think for USN it was really just about figuring out how your opponent's going to attack you, figure out who your opponent, who their game is going to run through is clearly number 19 and number 10, and then get the best players on the court to adjust. And I think they've done that. I think they've cut down on some of the mistakes they were making early in the game, and that's really what you need when you're trying to make a little comeback here.
USN comes back with a certain fire in their eyes. They got that dog in them.
For sure. Looks like Maggie Hayes has checked in for USN.
Oh, but it is another ace for Webb, a miscommunication.
Yeah, so just as I was saying that, it looked like we cleaned up the miscommunication. That's 2 straight serves now where there's been some miscommunication for USN. Number 21 serving for Webb. She's been very effective.
Tate is able to return it. Webb with the spike, but it is returned by Anissa. Josie sets up Julia. There's a miscommunication for Webb, and the ball hits the ground on their side. That is another point for USN. The score is now 20 to 21.
Yeah, this game's really been this set has really been a tale of 2 different kinds of points. You either have these really long points where it's a lot of good volleyball, or ones like just happened where it's just a mishit or a miscommunication.
That was an ace by Anissa Clark. She will serve once again. And Webb calls a timeout. USN stacking the aces. Stacking the deck with aces.
Both
here.
sides are. We haven't had an extended point here in probably 5 or 6 points. I think that's probably why there was a timeout call. Just both sides to kind of get it together and figure out what's going on.
You know, Webb was really able to recover very well from that comeback. They saw what was happening and they were able to put the fire out. Jeffrey, if you are the Webb coach right now, what are you telling your players?
I'm just encouraging more communication, right? Because a lot of their mistakes so far have either been balls dropping in between two people who aren't sure who's going for it, or and just stuff like that, small stuff like that. And I think if they're able to figure that out, that's really what that's how they were playing early on in the game when they pulled ahead. So that's really what they need if you're Webb.
I agree. Anissa serves and Webb returns it. Josie sets up Maddie. No, she sets up Tate in a fake, but it is returned. Oh, it is blocked at the net by Maddie. She tips it, and it is right over the blocker's head. Josie and Maddie were not able to get to that. Wow. Oh, but it is USN's point. The judge overturned it.
The net.
She must have touched the net. The score is now 22-21. USN leading. Webb is able to return Anissa's serve. Anissa sets it for Josie. For Ava. It is over the net. Oh, it is blocked at the net by Maddie once again.
Looked like Whelan there. Looked like it was either, beautiful block.
Beautiful block. That is once again USN's point, going on a run here, 23-21. Sets it up, and it is a kill for Webb.
There's Lauren Russ for Webb again. Another kill for her. She's really been on her game today.
She has indeed been a force for Webb today. USN still finding a solution for her. Anissa sets up Josie for Maggie, and it is over the net. A little tip there. A big spike, but it is dug out by Ava. Anissa, it is in the net. She seemed to just miss her mark there, but visibly a little frustrated.
Yeah, that's when you want back. But Anissa's a veteran player. You know that she'll come back and get the next one.
Oh, a beautiful! Oh, Josie almost saved that ball, but it was not able. They were not able to get the ball.
It was a bit of a miss hit there by Muhlenbach, and Whelan tried to save it, but to no avail, unfortunately. And USN takes a timeout here. Timeout's definitely stacking up here towards the end of the set.
The score is now 23-24. USN went on a run there, but they were stopped by Webb once again. Webb taking control of the game. USN seems to have a very informative circle there. The coach given a lot of strategical information, possibly a way to stop number 19 Lauren Rust and number 13 Bella Griffey. Were both been a force for Webb and in their kills and in their serving.
Yeah, so on the court for USN, as we near the end of this set, we have Josie Whelan, Tate Barbieri, Maddie Ewing, Anissa, Jessica, and Ava.
Josie sets it up for Tate, and it's over the net, and it's a kill.
That's big.
A big spike for Tate there. The score is now 24-24. We are tied up in Sperling Gymnasium. The crowd is absolutely loving it. This is a great game to watch. Josie over the net. The ball is set, and it is out. There's another point for USN.
Lauren Russ got a little bit too over-ambitious there. Put a little bit too much juice on it.
A little too much hot sauce. Josie will now be serving for USN. The ball is over the net, and it is spiked and almost dug by Anissa, but not quite.
Full layout there from Anissa, giving her full effort, just not quite able to get there.
The score is now 25-26 Webb.
25 ball.
Oh, 25-25. My mistake. It's still tied. Another fake by Abigail, and it is spiked over the net. Jessica sets up Anissa, who is able to bump it back over the net to Webb. Trying to find a solution to that hit, but they are able to get it back to the other side. Big spike by Tate, but it is sent back over. Webb is able to return that. Tate once again. Over and she scores a point for USN.
Some good volleyball right there. You know, Tate's finished a couple of those long points. She's been reliable up at the net today. And now she goes back and serves.
If you are having a busy night tonight, you surely do not want to be doing homework in here. It is a loud place. The student section obviously into this game.
Looks like something happened there. Crowd's not happy. The point's going to go to Webb there. So now we're back tied up at 26. Very entertaining first set.
Webb will be serving. The score is 26-26. Anissa with a big spike. Webb is able to return it, and Tate hits it, but it is not quite over the net. That is going to be a point for Webb.
Yeah, it looked like it was one of those where you're not sure if it's going to go over the net or not, so you're reluctant to kind of go up and go for it. Unfortunately for USN, it hits the net, and the point goes to Webb.
USN is able to return that serve. A deep hit, and Webb hits it out of bounds. Oh, but they are able to return it. A very good recovery there. And the ball goes awry from Anissa. And perhaps a little miscommunication.
That'll do it for the first set here at Sperling Gymnasium. Really well fought from both sides.
Yeah, the score is 26-27 in the first set. Very high scoring. What did you see from USN, Jeffrey, that they didn't show in those first few minutes that maybe they were able to adapt?
Yeah. So USN's been a little streaky so far, which is expected from any team. But when they're really at their best is when their communication is good, and they're just not making those small mistakes. I think that's what was happening in the beginning. When you saw them make that comeback about midway through this first set, it was really they cut down on those mistakes and then they pounced on the mistakes that Webb was making. Towards the end, it was a lot of back and forth. The last couple points were really good, just a lot of good volleyball, and you got to give credit to Webb. They really turned it on in those last couple points.
Yeah, and in this gym, it can get very loud, and I'm sure that these players are feeling that energy and are able to feed. When the student section gets loud, so do the players in their way they play. Definitely an explosive team here. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the second set.
Yeah. Well, if we've learned anything from this first set, it's that we got a good match in for us today.
We will join you in 2 minutes and 2 seconds for the second set here. And we are back in Sperling Gymnasium, joining you for the second set here. Webb took the first set 27-26, a very exciting set. Very high scoring, both teams fighting.
Yeah, second set here, Honestly, I think USN should be happy with how they responded in the first. You just want to avoid that first little hiccup that they had there, where they went down a couple points in a row. And I think you'll end with a better result here in the second set.
It looks like USN will be starting with the volleyball once again. It is their home court. It is not quite determined who will be serving yet. There seems to be a little bit of confusion on the court.
Looks like we do know who will be on the court though. It looks like at least for USN, it looks like Maddie Ewing, Abigail Green, Tate Barbieri, Josie Wheeling, Anissa Cloak, and Jessica Muhlenbach on the court here to start the second set.
Looks like some substitutions for Webb as well, as both teams get ready for the start of the set. The ball is handed to Josie Whelan as she gets ready to serve. She serves it, but it is returned by Webb, setting up a big spike. Oh no, a tip. Josie to Tate, and it is in the net. Webb will start us off with 1-0.
Yeah, I noticed there were a couple points in that first set where when you have these really like cross-court sets, we're having a little bit trouble finishing those on the spike.
You certainly do not have the air under the ball to have a successful spike, as you do when it's set up for you at the net.
Right.
The score is 1-1. The serve went into the net for Webb, so USN will be serving once again. Tate at the serve. It is dug and tipped over the net. Josie returns it with Anissa, and Julia is able to spike it, and that is another kill for Julia. She's been a crucial part of this USN offense. In this first set, a lot of big spikes, a lot of big kills.
She's picking corners right now, back left, back right, pretty consistently.
That's right. Webb is able to return the serve and spike it, but it is taken by Josie, who is able to get it back over the net. Webb sets up a spike, but it is a tip, and it is blocked by Maddie Ewing. The point will go to USN. They now lead 3-1.
19 for Webb there. She's saying my bad. She tried to put a little bit more finesse on that spike and didn't work out for her, right into the net.
We see a change in momentum here, Jeffrey. Webb started out the first set with a big lead, and now USN seems to be taking that mantle.
So it's tail 2 sets so far, very different starts, but it's what you want to see if you're USN.
That is a kill from Webb. Warren Rust with the kill. The score is now 3-2. USN leading by 1. Serving will be Warren Rust. Anissa is able to get it, but it is up. Oh, and the ball is stuck.
Bye-bye volleyball. Up in the rafters.
That ball is stuck in the rafters.
We won't be seeing that one again.
Anissa put a little too much juice on that ball, and the ceiling was just built too low for Anissa Clark today.
The crowd is rooting for the ball to come down, looks like. That's something you don't see every day. That's what happens. There are pretty low ceilings here at Spilling Gym.
There certainly are. The serve is into the net, so that is a point for USN. On that last point, because the ball went to the rafters, it was nobody's point and it was reset. But Webb did serve it into the net there, so USN will take a 2-point lead. Maddie Ewing serving now. Webb back over the net. Seemed to be some confusion with communication there, as Maddie and Julia both dove for that ball, and it went out of bounds.
That could have ended quite badly. Could have ended with both of them in their heads. They both dove for that ball. So lose the point, but glad that there wasn't any injuries.
Injuries are certainly something to look out for in volleyball here. You may not at first glance see it as a dangerous sport, but if you dive the wrong way or collide with the wrong person, then you could be out for a certain amount of time.
USN loses that point there. Looks like Josie Whelan probably didn't quite get that set as high as she wanted to, and so the spike went right into the net.
The USN is able to return that spike, but it is out of bounds. Webb takes the lead 4-5. We're seeing almost an identical set here, as USN started out as USN is starting out as Webb did the first set with a big lead, but it is overtaken by Webb, which USN did last set. A lot of similarities here.
As we speak, Abigail Green with a beautiful kill right in the back left corner. And that's how, once again, that's how you want to see USN rebounds. It had been about 3 points there where they'd lost some of that steam that they had earlier on in this set. So it's good to see them gain it back.
Ava serving now. Josie to Julia, a big spike, and it is a kill. Yeah, Webb did not know what to do with Julia. She is becoming a big problem for Webb as she's collecting points on points here.
Yeah, Julia finding lots of success from that outside spot.
Ava serving, but it is in the net.
USN's just got to string a couple good points together. Right now it's been like one good point and then one mistake. And there again, as we see, Anissa Clark unfortunately has a miss hit. Just got to string good points together.
The score is now 6-7 Webb. Kristen Logan serving for Webb. The ball is returned. Julia with the spike. It is USN's point as there are too many hits for Webb there. The score is now tied, 7-7.
It's like moving back now, checking in for Spencer for USN, and Jessica will go straight to the serve.
Jessica serving here. He's over the net. Returned. In a tip, Tate is able to bump that up for Josie, and it is a point for USN as Josie tips it right over the net into the gap of defenders.
That was pretty right there. Not a lot of velocity, but perfect spot.
A lot of precision. Jessica serving now. Is bumped up and tipped over back to the USN side.
Great communication here from USN.
Very well put together here, this offense. It is Webb spikes it, but USN is able to return it, setting up a big spike for Webb, and it is out of bounds. That is another USN point. USN now leads 9-7.
Yeah, it really seems like USN's really able to get in a rhythm within points, but they're unable to get in one between points. You need to be able to string points together and be able to really get ahead in this set.
Jessica serving once again, setting it up, and Webb is able to get the tip there. Autumn Swanson with the kill.
If you're USN, you'd much rather lose points by Webb beating you than by you beating yourself. That's
right.
what that last point was, so that's at least better than a mistake.
That was just a well put spike right there. And the ball is not blocked at the net. It is over, but they are finally able to collect themselves and get it back to the USN side. USN returning it with a big spike, but it is returned once again. And it is out of bounds.
Number 13 for Webb. That would be Bella Griffey. She spikes that one out the back end. USN with a little 2-point lead here. We'll see if they can expand on it.
Anissa serving here. Webb is able to return it with a tip. Ava bumps it up to Josie to Tate, and she spikes it, but it is bumped up. A big block by Josie. She tips it over to the other side. Webb is able to defend that and sends it back to USN. Oh, Josie with a surprise tip. Ava bumps it up to Josie, setting up Tate, and it's in the net. And that seemed like a double touch, but the refs did not see it, thankfully. And Webb is able to get the ball back over to the USN side with a big spike by Maddie, but Webb is able to recover. And she's able to get it right in between those defenders.
Marathon of a point right there. Is it just me, right? I mean, it seems like USN has won every single marathon point.
They certainly have been able to have the longevity and the finishing ability of those long points. And the ball is tipped out of bounds. Another mistake for Webb, and USN expands their lead 12-8.
Yeah, and Webb, I was just about to say. Yeah, so Webb will take a timeout here. It looked like they were their shoulders were slumping a little bit. USN on a bit of a run here. So it seems like Webb's probably trying to break up their this little run here. Crowd chanting "rattle," classic.
Jeffrey, as you were saying earlier, with mistakes beating you instead of the enemy, can you just talk a little bit more about that and how that's affected Webb in these last 3 points?
Yeah, so Webb, it's a lot more detrimental, and you can get down on yourself a little bit more when it feels like you're beating yourself instead of the opponent. Because when you're beating yourself, it's you, right? You feel like you're responsible, and it can really get you in a funk. And if you want to win games, you gotta have. If you want to win games, you can't beat yourself.
Webb is able to send it in a spiked fashion, but Tate responds with a kill of her own that is in between the Webb defenders, and it is a USN point once again, 13-8.
Yeah, Tate's been a very consistent presence.
Anissa serving it into the net. 4-point lead in this game is not much, considering the two teams that are playing. Either team could seize the opportunity and overcome the opponent. Jessica is able to retrieve that serve to Maddie, but it is blocked to the net. USN is able to recover, however, and it is sent back to Webb. Webb with a big spike, but it's blocked at the net. That is another USN point on a run here, 14-9.
Looked like either Whelan or Ewing there for USN with a huge block. It really looks like they're stacking up on number 19, Russ. Is that her name? Yeah, Lauren Russ, her side of the court.
USN serving now, and Webb is not able to get it to the other side. It is now 15-9.
Well, if there's anything I've noticed, it's that, so Webb's offense definitely, the whole game really runs through number 19, and when she's not on, they're not on. And so far in the second set, she has not been on, certainly compared to the first set.
She has been a deciding factor in this game. Webb once again misses its mark on the USN side. It is out of bounds. It is 16-9 now, USN in the lead. That is a 7-point lead.
And as I was saying, USN is now stringing together points. That's really what you need.
It could have some impact with this large crowd we have here in the student section.
Webb is really having some trouble now. That's 3 straight points with simple mishits.
The ball was hit over to Webb's side, but they were not able to retrieve it and send it back to USN. Josie serving now. It is bumped and it is out of bounds, but it is saved. Adisa setting it for Maddie, and it is tipped over, but it is retrieved by Webb. Webb sends it back over to USN. Josie sets up Abigail, a big spike, but it is blocked at the net.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was blocked or if it hit the net. Either way, Webb's going to come out on top for that point. If you're USN, you just don't want that to become a trend. You want to keep your foot on the pedal right here if you're USN.
Webb serves it, but it goes awry. That is an ace for Webb.
Yeah, that's not what you want right there if you're USN. Got to put an end to this now. Still have a 6-point cushion though.
The Webb serve is in the net, and that is another point for USN. There's been a lot of serves in the net lately.
That's a lucky break there for USN. It seemed like Webb was finally starting to get their feet back under themselves, but with that missed serve, USN has a chance to respond.
The ball is set up for a Webb hitter, but it is just tipped over. USN is able to easily recover. But the ball is tipped after USN sending it over to the Webb side. Number 3, Kristen Logan is able to get a tip over to the USN side where there are no defenders.
Yeah, now it's just a good play by Webb. If you're USN, you can live with that.
Anissa retrieving the serve. Abigail with a big smack. The ball was spiked over, but Webb is able to retrieve it to Maddie, who was able to tip it back. USN now missing their mark. That was Tate with the hit. It was out of bounds. 18-3 now.
Well, the 13.
13. Yeah. My mistake.
The USN crowd has really been they've been chanting number 19 for Webb, Lauren's name. They know that the offense runs through her, and they're trying to get in her head.
Indeed, that's the advantage. That is the home court advantage for volleyball here. The score is 18-14 as Julia spikes it into the net. Webb will be serving here.
You hear the Lauren chants now from the strong crowd here.
Josie bumps it for Anissa, but she's not able to get it over the net. Josie bumped it to Anissa on the second hit, but it was too far away for her to get it over the net.
Yeah, and that nice 6-point cushion that USN had earlier is close to evaporating. I mean, it's 18-15 now. Good thing is USN only needs 7 more points to put this set to a close. You got to hope that you can get there before Webb closes this margin. Webb went to that break with a lot of energy, screaming, trying to hype themselves up because, as I said, their shoulders really were slumping during that run for USN.
And as you were saying earlier, Jeffrey, these are two teams that are not going to beat each other, but beat themselves with these mistakes. And whoever can minimize these mistakes is going to come out on top.
Right, that's half the battle is making sure you don't make the mistakes. And then, of course, part of volleyball is of course, beating your opponent. But you really want to minimize your mistakes.
Yeah. Number 19, Lauren Russ will be serving. And it is an ace as Julia bumps it out of bounds.
I mean, you could call that a miscommunication, but it was really just a very well-placed serve.
It was. Lauren Russ will be serving again on the hash mark. She jumps and delivers. Julia bumping it to the other side and is out of bounds. That lead that USN once had is now all but gone. The score is now 18-17, USN leading by 1 point. Anissa is able to retrieve the serve, setting it for Julia, who is able to spike it, but it is retrieved by Webb. Able to get it back. Tate is able to, and a beautiful tip by Julia, but it is out of bounds once again.
That was a close one. That was a close one. There were at least 2 spikes there that looked like they might have been going out, but were kept in play by either team.
The score is now 18-18.
Great dig there by Mario.
Julia spikes it, but it is retrieved. Webb is able to get it back over to the USN side. Tate bumps it up for Josie. Josie to Maddie. No, to Abigail. And there's a big spike, a big kill for USN as they take the lead, 19-18.
Yeah, Abigail Green finally able to get through that blockade there on the right side. They've done a pretty good job of defending that side, but finally able to get it through there.
Maddie serving. It is an ace as it was going to go out of bounds, but the Webb defender touches
Lucky
it.
break there.
Certainly.
Lucky break there for USN. Looked like that serve was going out, but number 10 for Webb decided to go for it, and it just bounced right off of her arm.
Maddie serving it once again. It is bumped up again for a spike, but Maddie retrieves it. Josie sets it up for Julia. A big spike, but it is once again returned. Tate returns that. Julia once again. Webb returns that spike. Julia sets up Abigail, and it is out of bounds. The score is now 20-19.
Yeah, a couple points in these last couple where USN has just missed outside the line.
In the history of this game, USN has been able to win out on those longer points, but on that one, Webb was able to come out on top.
Yep, can't win every one.
USN is able to return their serve. It is hit back. Tate is able to dig it. It is set for Julia. It's a big tip right over the defenders. The score is now 21-19. Big play by Julia Spencer
great
there.
Finesse there.
A perfect.
Was able to drop it right in between 3 players.
And a great set by Josie Whelan.
Yeah, put it on a platter for her.
Ava Baller, living up to her name with a absolutely ballin' serve. Josie sets up Julia for a big spike, but it is returned to the USN side. Webb able to get the ball back to the USN side. Josie sets the ball for Julia, and it is spiked but returned by Webb. It is blocked, but into the net. That is a Webb point.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty similar finish to the last point. More finesse than power on that spike.
The score is now 21-20. A nail biter here in the second set.
Yeah, pretty similar to the first one. Towards the end.
Oh, and a beautiful tip by Josie there. Webb is able to recover and spike it back to the USN side, and it is a kill.
Yeah, I thought Josie almost had him there. It looked like she was going to set it, but then
little fake out.
A little fake out, hit it over the net, but Webb was able to recover and respond.
Jessica setting it for Julia. The ball is returned to the USN side, and it is out of bounds. That's going to be a Webb point. Webb now taking the lead, 22-21.
Yeah, USN's having some trouble defending spikes on those right side. Swanson's over there, number 10 for Webb. She's doing a really good job.
You know, Jeffrey, I've seen a lot of minimizing mistakes here. Both teams just playing good volleyball.
Yeah.
USN is able to get a nice point over a tip by Josie. Webb dives for it, but it is bumped out of bounds.
Yeah, we've gotten past that stretch where it seems just mistakes. It's been some really good volleyball from both sides these last couple of points, probably last 10 or so.
I think the coaches were able to calm them down and get them to just get them out of their own heads. Yeah, that's the key.
Well, but unfortunately, it seems like every time we say something like that, and then a mistake happens. It looks like USN just served one into the net.
Yeah.
So, gonna really have to fight these next couple points here.
Anissa bumps it to Josie, who sets it, but it is missed by number 23, Maggie Hayes.
Couldn't tell if that was a miscommunication or what, or a miss it, but either way, Webb has it, and they now are 1 point away.
Webb leading 24-22. It is tipped over. Jessica returns it. Maggie to Tate, who was able to spike it, but it is returned by Webb, who is the player now out of bounds returning it. Maggie spikes it. Tate setting up Tate. It was a kill. Josie set up Tate there, who was able to give a beautiful spike and a beautiful kill as it hit the defender's arm, but it went out of bounds.
Yeah, 16 for Webb's been having a little bit of trouble there on the back end. She was the one who missed that serve that looked like it was going out. So the more the USA can target her, the better.
Right. The score now being close to 23-24 with a timeout called by USN.
Webb.
By Webb, my mistake. Webb now out on the floor. Coach only had a couple quick things to say to them, but USN seems to be taking the full 30 seconds.
Yeah, you need this point here for USN.
This is certainly a big point for USN here. Anissa will be serving. Webb able to retrieve it. And it's out of bounds. A big point for USN.
Great read there by Muhlenbach on the back end. A bit unsure if it was going to go out or stay in. She decides not to go for it, and it lands about 6 inches to a foot out. Beautiful read there.
The game is now tied. Anissa serving it to Webb. Webb, a little bit of confusion there, but is able to return it. Tate tips it, but it is blocked at the net. That is going to be a point for Webb.
Great block there by number 21 for Webb. She will now go back to serve for the match.
The score now being 24-25 Webb. Big point there.
Into the net!
It is 25-25. This game is tied in the second set here. Josie will be taking the ball to serve.
Abigail Green checks in for Ava Baller. Other than that, the people on the court stays the same for us.
Webb returns it. Blocked by Maggie Hayes. Sorry,
Maddie Ewing, massive block.
Ewing.
Massive block. USN now within a single point of taking the set and sending this to a third.
Josie serving now. It was dug up by Webb, and they are able to return it, and it is out of bounds.
It looked like it was in.
But it was called in by the judge. The score is now 26-all.
Great kill right there. Really good accuracy.
A big reflection of last set here, as the score is tied in the end of the set. Webb able to return it and with a kill.
Wow.
Webb takes the lead once again. It is 26-27. That is the end of the set.
Timeout.
Timeout. My mistake.
Timeout here for USN. Once again, they're facing a match point here.
Jeffrey backs up against the wall. What is the USN coach telling her players right now?
I mean, I think they've really played some good basketball. Basketball, that's not bad. Volleyball. I was on autopilot there. Yeah, they've really played some good volleyball these last couple of points. Very well disciplined. And honestly, the last 2 points have just been beautiful kills from number 19 for Webb. So kind of there have been stretches where she's been on or off. Unfortunately for USN, seems like she's on right now. Got to find a way to take her off her game if you want a chance here.
Serving now is Belle Brooks Watson. Josie sets it up for Maggie, but it does not go over the net as it lands on the Webb side. That is a big point for USN, 27-27.
Maddie Ewing, ice in her veins. Last 2 match points, she has come up big for USN.
Maddie Ewing does indeed have that dog in her. Tate serves it, but it is returned by Webb, and it is almost blocked, but sent over the rest of the USN team.
Yeah, not much that you can do about that if you're USN. Just got to come back and win this point here.
That was a point for Webb. The score is now 27-28. Webb. And the serve is out. The student section going nuts as this game has stayed within 1 point for the last 6 points.
28-28 now. That serve, I don't know. That's in Philadelphia, right? Way out the back.
that is once again out of bounds for Webb. Their mistakes building as USN takes the lead in the second set here. The score is 29-28. USN. Oh, and a big tip by Maggie Hayes. And a lot of confusion. And USN wins. And USN will win the second set. We have quite a game here, Jeffrey. Quite a game. The student section goes wild. They're having the time of their lives as we are having the time of our lives up here in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you had to find a way to take 19 off her game. You know, it turns out she took herself off her game. She sent the serve that almost hit the pads in the back, so probably missed by about at least 10, 15 feet. And seems like she probably got in her head a little bit after that. And yeah, that's really the recipe that USN needed. And then some clutch plays there by Maddie Ewing at the end really set the tone for USN.
We are seeing some frustration from the bench at Webb. The coach is trying to get them set straight. On both coaches are trying to get their players set straight as they move into this third set. We have quite a game here, Jeffrey. Both teams seem to be evenly matched, and every point. What are your takeaways from this last set? How it compares to the first one?
I mean, I think it shows that both teams are going to go on runs. You just got to hope to be the team that's hot at the end. First set, Webb got pretty hot at the end, and they were the ones who ended up winning that. And then, of course, at the end here, USN didn't necessarily get hot.
They went on a run.
But they played disciplined volleyball, and therefore the mistakes that Webb made were reflected in the score. And USN ended up pulling away. So
we have about 2.5 minutes until the start of the third set. We will join you back shortly. And we're back in the third set here. After just a total battle in the last set, USN barely winning by just a couple points. Starting on the USN side will be Anissa, Jessica, Ava, Josie, Maddie, and Tate. They've been a total force out there today. Really unstoppable from setting, and we've been seeing a lot of beautiful sets from Josie and a lot of great finishes from Julia and Tate. Webb serves it. It is returned by Anissa, but set to Tate, but is hit out of bounds. Webb will be serving once again. They are leading the third set, 1-0. Jeffrey, what are some things that you think USN will bring into this set after the performance from last set?
Momentum. I mean, you've got the crowd on your behalf. That helps a lot, obviously. But you've also got confidence now, right? You've got confidence that you can really finish like they weren't able to do in the first set.
Josie will be serving here. It is returned by Webb. He's able to set it and get it back over the net. Josie sets it to Tate. A big spike, and it is out of the reach of the Webb defender. The score is now 2-1 USN.
Webb said no answer for Tate at that outside spot today.
That's right. Josie will serve once again. Webb able to retrieve it and bump it back over to the USN side. Webb gets it back over after a little bit of confusion there. Back over to Abigail Green, who's able to spike it and finish on that long point. We see this USN offense wheeling and dealing here, absolutely running and gunning. They have some momentum. They're carrying in from the last set and is showing in the start of this third set.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
A big spike from Lauren Rust, who was able to get it right in front of Jessica's dig. That is going to be a big kill for Webb, leading the score to 3-2. Tate spikes it, but it is in the net. That is going to bring Webb up to 3-3. This game is tied.
Yeah, Tate's definitely had a lot more success spiking from the outside spot than from the right side.
That ball is dug, and it is into the net on Webb's side. That is going to be another point for USN. USN taking the lead here, 4-3, in the beginning of this third set.
Looks like Spencer coming in from Rubenbach here for USN.
He's bumped up and out of bounds on the Webb side. The ball lands right over here by the broadcasting booth. It is now 5-3, USN. In the student section, we see some of the students doing push-ups for the amount of points that USN has. A tradition often seen in football.
Well, gotta hope somebody has to do 25 by the end of this one.
That ball was tipped over to the USN side and bumped awry. USN had no answer for that point there. The score is now 5-4. USN still leading. Anissa returns that ball. And Julia in the game now with a big spike, but it is barely blocked by Webb. He's able to get it over the net, but it is dug by Josie, who's able to get it back to the USN to the Webb side. He sets it up and returns it, but it is out of bounds. That is a point for USN, 6-4 now.
That was great there from Josie. Looks like that might not have been what she was intending, but it sure worked, and yeah, USN ends up on top there.
Once again, the ball landing around the broadcasting booth.
Yeah.
Got a little scared there for a second.
We got buzzed the tower a little bit.
As Maddie served it, but the ball was a little too hot to handle, and it went out of bounds. Webb returning Maddie's serve once again. Josie sets up Julia for a tip Maggie Hayes. That ball is USN's point as a Webb hitter touches the net.
Yeah, got to take advantage of the mistakes now. USN's double Webb score right now, 8-4.
Oh, and the ball is in the net once again. That's on Webb's side. That is going to be another USN point.
Looked like either Abigail Green or Maggie Hayes there on the block. 9-4 now. This is kind of looking like the second set, which bodes well.
For USN.
For USN, yes.
Maddie once again with the serve, but Webb is able to return it. Abigail now hits it, but it is returned by Webb. It is set up for a big spike by Maggie Hayes.
Like somebody must have touched the net.
Yeah, I think Maggie did get the net a little bit on that. The student section does not like that call, however. Webb will serve number 3.
Looks like Maddie Ewing checked
Logan.
out for USN. Didn't quite see who checked in. Oh wow!
That ball was hammered. That is a kill by Abigail Green. The student section once again doing push-ups for the amount of points USN has.
Not quite sure about that form. But I guess
those were recognizable as push-ups.
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
he got there.
He got there. Julia spikes it, but it is returned by Webb. It is sent back over to the USN side, where it is set up for Julia. She once again spikes it, but it goes out of bounds. The score is now 10-6. USN.
Yeah. Just got to minimize those. Maintain this lead. That's what's going to be important.
The student section trying to get a little louder so that this team can feed off of that energy. As they've been a little quiet after they've taken their lead. The score now, the lead now closing 10-7. USN leads by 3. The ball is set for Maggie Hayes as she tips it over right into a gap of defenders. That is a USN point, 11-7. USN leads by 4. That was a great set by Josie.
Yeah,
it's been an integral part of this offense and defense. Able to set up all these spikes. Often the setter doesn't get the recognition that these heavy hitters are
getting.
But
they're integral to
that they are. But they're a very important part of this. And a great move by Josie.
Speaking of Josie Wheeler.
Speaking of Josie Wheeler.
You know, we talked about that. She did that one thing in the second set where it looked like she was going to set it, and then she hits it over the net. And Webb has no idea what's about to hit him.
They had no idea what's going on there. That was a beautiful fake out. Jessica serves the ball to Webb's side.